On Jenny's birthday, I promised I'd grant her one birthday wish. Anything I could do, I'd do it, I said. She rolled her eyes and replied sarcastically, in that case, I wish you'd get lost. Can you do that? The people around us burst out laughing. Aren't you asking the impossible? They joked. Everyone knew Johnson was a human barnacle, you couldn't shake him off. He'd stick around no matter who else left. Even Jenny thought he was just messing with her when he finally nodded and said, okay. But from that day on, I really and truly never showed up in front of her again. The quiet private room had erupted in laughter after Jenny's impatient words. The candles on her birthday cake still flickered, the dancing light illuminating every face contorted in hysterics. My awkwardness and helplessness were the best fuel for their amusement. Someone blurted out, "Come on, Jenny. You're just making it hard for him. Everyone knows Johnson loves following you around. He's the last person on earth who'd ever get lost, right?" Another joked, "He's like gum on her shoe. She's probably sick of him, and he's over here talking about granting wishes." Amid the laughter, Jenny's gaze remained cold as she looked at me. I knew she could see my embarrassment and hear the mockery in everyone's words. She just couldn't be bothered to speak up for me. I stood there awkwardly, forcing a numb smile. "At least let me stay until after your birthday is over," I said. Someone snorted. "Dude, that's next-level simping." Even Jenny frowned. "Johnson, are you ever going to quit? You asked for my birthday wish. That was it. I want you to get lost right now." After she said that, the room fell silent. The candles still stood in the cake, their wax dripping like colorful tears. I bowed my head for a moment, then looked up at her. "Seriously? Then blow out your candles. I'll leave after you do." Jenny probably thought it was funny, because she leaned over and blew out all the candles in one breath. "Happy now?" she said, almost mocking me. I nodded. "Okay." Then I actually stood up, put on my jacket, and walked to the door. Before I left, I looked back at Jenny sitting in the center of the group. There was so much I wanted to say, that she was allergic to eggs, that it might rain later, that she should take care of herself. But looking at her impatient face, I condensed it all into one sentence. Don't be upset. It's bad for your heart. I'm leaving, Jenny. On the cab ride home, I saw a video one of Jenny's friends had posted. They were laughing, placing bets on how many days it would take for me to crawl back. Some said a week, others 3 days. When they turned the camera on Jenny, she scowled and muttered, "This is so stupid." Someone asked, "Aren't you afraid Johnson might actually not come back?" Jenny froze for a second before scoffing, "He wouldn't dare." I stared blankly at the screen. The driver glanced at me through the rearview mirror. "Fight with your girlfriend, son?" I paused. "No, she's not my girlfriend." After nearly 10 years by Jenny's side, we still had no title. Not lovers, not even friends. Her friends called me a leech you couldn't get rid of, and maybe they were right. For 4 years in college, I brought her breakfast every day because of her stomach problems. I took care of her when she was sick, stayed by her bedside through fevers and 4 drips. She had a terrible temper, but I never minded. I would just remind her gently, "Don't get upset. It's bad for your heart." People said I was pathetic, and maybe I was. But my devotion to Jenny wasn't about love, it was about the heart beating inside her chest. The heart that once belonged to Urban, the woman I loved. I left Boston for Atlanta. 10 years of my life, gone. I almost blocked Jenny's number but decided not to. She'd never contact me first anyway. Before my flight, I saw her social post, a picture of 2 clasped hands with the caption, "She's my responsibility now." Written in a young guy's tone. It stung, but I told myself it was for the best. Back in Atlanta, I was too busy to grieve. Work and old friends filled my days. Then, a week later, Jenny called. I answered immediately, thinking something had happened. But she said nothing. Jenny? Are you okay? Say something. Silence. My chest tightened. Panic rushed through me. I thought of Urban, covered in blood in my arms years ago. Just as I was about to call 911, laughter exploded from the other end. Haha, told you. One call and he cracks. Jenny was right. Her friends. Then her cold voice came through. Johnson, that's enough. Come back now, or don't bother coming back at all. That was when something inside me broke. I realized I'd been blind. Jenny wasn't Urban. She never was. I whispered, the game's over. I'm done playing. And for the first time, I cried. Years ago, Urban had died in a car crash on her 18th birthday. She'd been craving ice cream, and I'd gone to get it for her. I blamed myself for years. Holding her dying body, I heard her last words, "It's okay. It's not your fault." But I never believed her. When I found out her heart had been transplanted into another girl, Jenny, I thought I had found a reason to live. But all I did was trap myself in the past. That day, I finally blocked Jenny on everything. Months passed. Then one day, fate played a cruel trick. I ran into Jenny at a hospital. She was on crutches, her leg in a cast. Johnson? What are you doing here? She asked, startled. I'm not here for you, I said flatly. Just then, a voice called from behind me. Johnson, I thought you were waiting in the break room. It was Rocky, the doctor my family had introduced me to. Jenny froze, her face darkened. Don't you dare go with her, she hissed, grabbing my arm. I pulled away. Let go. Rocky stepped between us. Are you okay? She asked. I nodded. Let's go. As we walked away, Jenny screamed my name. Then I heard her crutch fall, followed by a thud, but I didn't look back. In the car, Rocky asked softly, was that her? The one who received Urban's heart? I stared at her in shock. You don't remember me, do you? She said with a sad smile. Johnson, you really have a terrible memory. Then I realized Rocky had been Urban's best friend in high school. You're the one who told me about the heart transplant, I said. She nodded. If I'd known that news would trap you for 10 years, maybe I wouldn't have told you. But I probably still would have. You needed a reason to live. Her voice was calm. Urban would never have wanted you to be like this. Stop atoning. You have nothing to be guilty of. Over time, I started to heal. I visited Urban's grave, met old friends, and began to live again. But just when I thought I could finally move on, Jenny returned. She moved to Atlanta, rented an apartment across from mine, sent flowers, cooked breakfast, followed me everywhere. Finally, I confronted her. What do you really want, Jenny? I'm here for you, she said quietly. It was absurd. After everything, now she said that? She added, I know I was wrong. Please forgive me. I looked at her for a long moment and said calmly, Jenny, you had a heart transplant, didn't you? Her expression froze. You're lying, she whispered. You know I'm not, I replied. The donor was Urban. She was 18. Jenny stared at me, pale and trembling. So, all these years, you never loved me? You just. Yes, I said. Her tears fell. Liar. How could you use me as a replacement for someone else? I didn't respond. Please don't bother me again, I said finally. If you're here, I can't move on. And that was the last time I saw her. Months later, Rocky helped me move apartments. When we finished, she handed me a small gift. Don't read too much into it, she teased. I laughed. It's just that. I think I'm fine on my own. I walked into the bright autumn sun. The air was crisp and clear. I used to fear being alone. But now, I realized, there was nothing to fear, you just have to get used to walking forward by yourself. Being alone is fine.